There are a variety of breads that are indeed good for you. And here to tell us more is nutrition and fitness expert Ashley Pettit. I think a lot of people are going to be happy to hear this.
I hope so.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good to see you.
Good
You
to
look
see you
so
too.
amazing since the baby.
Thank you. It's all the bread I'm eating.
See, that's all I needed to hear. Bread does get such a bad rap, though,
It does.
right?
It does. And I think shopping for bread has become more confusing because there's just so many choices.
Right.
And then there's also now the frozen aisle, which a lot of people don't even know exists. So it's like, where are you getting your bread? So
All right.
I brought in my best in show, is what I like to call it.
Okay, so these are the things that are not only things that'll satisfy, because, you know, there's nothing like having a good piece of bread.
I know.
So, all right, I'm glad that it's okay now. What's this first choice?
So sprouting is a big trend in raw vegan diets, right? But it's coming into the mainstream, and sprouted bread is one of the healthiest things you can get. I mean, it's far beyond any other type of bread. It is found in the freezer section, so some people might have overlooked it, but sprouting brings alive the nutrients in your food. So
What does it mean?
think about like watering a plant. So essentially you're watering the nutrients. So the flours that are making the bread have been sprouted, the grains have been sprouted before they're turned into flour. So
okay.
you're enriching your nutrients in your bread. So take protein. You have more protein, more fiber in a sprouted bread, and less carbohydrates, which we're all kind of talking about a lot.
And doesn't the protein balance off the carbs in it, or?
It definitely brings in more protein and brings down the carbs a little bit. So I don't say balance it, but it does have a better nutrition profile. You're right. Yes, for sure. And sprouted bread, it can get a bad rap, so you have to go for one that has a flavor that you like. So I always say, look at the flours, pay attention to the ingredients. I like the flax and spelt because it's not bitter bread, but you know, you just throw some avocado on anything and it tastes good, right?
I would agree with you on that one. Okay, so what's our next one?
So whole grain. So everybody wants to buy whole wheat, and you see all these percentages, 100% whole wheat, all those things. So for me with wheat bread, I say you really just need to look at the keywords. So whole grain is a keyword. Honey wheat is what you want to avoid. Things that say that it has sugar in it, that it's been overly processed. Just like when you're buying an olive oil, you want to buy the first press so it's not overly processed. Same thing with whole grain bread. So I brought in a 7-grain bread by Rudy's, which is my favorite, and not just because my favorite producer here is named
I
Rudy.
was just going to say, he's really happy about this.
Of course. But because the bread actually, one, tastes good, has a great, it's more than 5 grams of fiber per serving, which you really want to look out for, and there's no added sugar.
Right. So those are the keys. Staying away from the sugar and looking for things that have, I guess, fewer ingredients.
Yes, and ingredients like flax and chia and millet and ancient grains, those things are going to automatically mean fiber as long as they're not overly processed. So I brought in some flours just to show people what they look like.
Got it. Now, gluten-free is a huge thing right now for people who have allergies, but also for people in general. Some people are just trying to stay away from it because it can be so irritating.
Yeah, and I think the thing about gluten is what people don't realize is gluten is actually the protein in wheat. So yes, if you stay away from wheat and you go gluten-free, you're still getting a lot of the grains that I recommend anyway, like millet and quinoa and oats. So going gluten-free, you could do it without actually missing gluten. But if you do have a gluten intolerance, a lot of gluten-free breads are made with potato starch or corn or white rice, and there's just no nutrition.
Yeah.
No, it's like white bread, but for gluten-free. So I do a millet chia bread. Again, you're looking for the key words. That's also in the freezer section. So a lot of people might overlook that too.
Now, why is it in the freezer section, this and the sprouted bread?
So the sprouted breads and the gluten-free breads do not have a lot of preservatives, so they don't last. They don't have a shelf life. So a lot of things that you'll find that are actually healthier are found in the freezer section because they're not overly preserved.
Got it.
So that is fantastic. So I love that bread, and I like obsessed with millet because I think it's a very natural taste. It has a kind of a sweet tinge to it. So whereas buckwheat, some people might not. You're going in.
I'm going in on this one.
Good.
Because I'm curious about because you know, you hear about these grains and you're like, I don't know.
Yes, and you have to like whatever density you like. This is not a very dense gluten-free bread, so it's not heavy. It's not, you know, again, the potato starch makes them very heavy sometimes, and there's also no egg in there. Yeah.
It tastes completely normal. So this is also vegan.
That's also vegan, yes.
Okay, this is good.
And then I brought a quick trick. So sometimes I find that I'm out of bread, I don't have access to it, but I do have a couple flours at home. So I use oat flour. If you're paleo, you can use coconut flour. There's no egg in there. It's just flax meal, coconut flour, baking soda, a little bit of coconut nectar. You put it in the microwave for 2 minutes and it makes the bread that's on the counter.
Wait a minute. You put that in the microwave?
Yep. I don't love to use my microwave that often, but if I don't want to make a loaf of bread and I just want to make one piece, that's one piece, one serving piece. The recipe's on my website. It's incredible.
See, You put it in a little container and you put it. You made bread in the microwave.
Yes, I made bread in the
Because you know how
microwave.
long it takes to make bread.
Trust me, I know, because I try to home make all of the foods that I eat,
Right.
and it is just arduous. So I figured this out one day, and I just said I've got to tell everybody about
That's
this.
a happy accident.
It
And you know
really
what?
is.
I've seen all those in like regular grocery stores, not having to go someplace and specifically do it. That,
Oh,
that
no.
Bob's Mill stuff.
Oh, yep.
It's
Bob's Red Mill.
everywhere.
It
Yeah.
is. It's everywhere. King Arthur, all those types of flours now are everywhere, which I think is fantastic.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting concept because I think a lot of times we think to be healthy, we have to stay away from grains, and that's part of a balanced diet too.
100%. You have to. I mean, you cannot get as much fiber from just having vegetables as you can from adding whole grains into your diet too. And a lot of them have protein too, which is fantastic.
Ashley, this opened my eyes today, and this tasted good. Something gluten-free that I loved. All right, for more information on all these recipes and these breads, check out ashleypettittliving.com. That's where you find out the microwave bread. I gotta go. I'm gonna taste that next too.